that he lost all respect for her and wanted to just denigrate her, disrespect her, and demean her. But I'm actually backing up off that point. Maybe that's not how he looked at it. He didn't look at it as demeaning and degrading and everything like that. Because look, he was with Cassie for 11 years. He met her when she was 19. Look at this woman here. This woman is in her 30s. She's already a baby mama for another lit person. It's impossible that he's just trying to like punish this. He doesn't have history with her like that. Or maybe he's doing it. I don't know. Maybe he's doing it because he don't like 50. Nah, but that don't sounds like he genuinely enjoys this shit, right? I told Sean I just threw up. What did he say? He said, that's good. What? He said, that's good. Now be ready for the third guy. He's here. How did you feel? I felt disgusted. I was repulsed. I was too mad at myself. Hold on one second. Oh, never mind. Okay. Hold on. Okay. She said, I was mad at myself. I let myself get it. I was mad I let myself get into this. Comey said this would be a good time to break, so they did break, and they broke in an hour. Then they came back. During the break, Combs in an animated conversation with Ignifilo, Shapiro and Steele, he's talking with his hands. So Diddy is, again, we've heard this multiple times, Diddy is like really quarterback in his own defense. He's always talking to his defense attorneys, and apparently from what we've heard about how court looks, while they're in court, they are, while they're questioning witnesses, they'll look back at Diddy, and if Diddy be like, they'll let the witness go. But if, it's like they're almost looking at Diddy to say, should we keep grilling? Should we keep going? So they're doing a lot of things for the amusement of Diddy. Okay? Let me a second. Let me see what it says. So just says, okay. Okay, so they take a break. They bring back Jane Doe and the jury. Okay? Give me a second. They take a break. All rise. It said, did Sean ever run out of drugs during a hotel night? She says, yes. They said, what happened? He would call one of the assistants or the butlers to bring more drugs. Sometimes he even called security. Comey says, what assistants? He'll call Frank or he'll call John. AUSA says, let me show you a photo of Brendan. Ooh, remember Brendan? Y'all remember Brendan? They called him the drug mule for Diddy. So he was a former basketball player. This is him right here.
Because again,
this is 25-year-old Brendan Paul. He's a former Syracuse University basketball player, but he's better known off the court as P. Diddy's alleged drug mule. These allegations date back to February, when a bombshell civil lawsuit against P. Diddy called out Brendan Paul by name, listing him as someone who allegedly acquires and distributes Diddy guns and drugs. This was the lawsuit filed by Rodney Jones, better known as Lil Rod. He's P. Diddy's former producer, who laid out a laundry list of serious allegations against Diddy. Lil Rod claims Diddy sexually assaulted him, groomed him to have sex with celebrities, and was the kingpin in a gun, drug, and sex trafficking empire. Similar allegations against Diddy had already been brought forward back in November of last year, when 4 civil suits were filed against Diddy. That includes suits from his ex-girlfriend.
Okay, so we know who Brendan Paul is. Okay, so Brendan, that's who that is. Who from security did he call for drugs? Fahim. Sean called him Fa. AUSA, who brought the drugs? Guido. He brought mostly ecstasy, Molly, and Xanax, and Coke. So did you ever take Xanax? She says, yes, after I put Sean to sleep. Holy. Did you ever carry drugs for Sean? Yes, from LA to Miami. KK told me I'll have security come out and give you a package. I ask, is it safe and is it okay? What did KK tell you? She says, it's fine. I do it all the time. Comey says, where did Sean? Okay, so again, Christina Karama is actually implicated in giving drugs over to these people that or to this, to Daphne Joy that she had to transport for him, okay? KK told me I'd have security come out and give you a package. I asked if it's safe and okay. What did she tell you? She says, fine, I do it all the time. So again, KK, her name is coming up. I'm wondering why she's not a co-conspirator. Comey then says, did you move drugs for Sean another time? She says, yes, in my luggage from LA to Miami. There, Sean and I used them. They were ecstasy. Before May and October 2021, who reached out to the entertainers? Jane says, Sean. Then who did it after then? She says, me. Okay? Comey says, why did you start choosing? She says, I didn't want it to be a stranger. I assessed the dynamic of our relationship. We were walking porn. And I saw a performer and said, that one. Why did you want to choose? I couldn't get away from this. Comey says, who did you choose? I chose Sly Williams. I called him Chef. He had a passion for cooking. What were you and Sean doing? We were having sex on ecstasy. We were talking about Sly's size. Sean was acting all flirtatious about it. What? Well, Diddy's gay. So Diddy was acting flirtatious about how big the nigga's dick was. Who the hell is Sly Williams? Sly. That's a basketball player? Who's Sly? Anyway. Jane says, I sent Sly a message over Instagram. Comey said, did he respond? Jane says, yes. I told him I was a fan of his work. Maybe we should meet up one day. We did a FaceTime. Sean was there. What happened? It got hot and steamy. I asked him to show me himself. Comey says, did he show you his genitals? Yes. And I was casting from my phone to Sean's television. So Diddy was watching, probably jerking off like, oh, yeah, you tell that nigga to show you his dick. So Diddy's jerking off to that nigga's dick. Diddy's gay as shit, bro. He gay as shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. Diddy's like a different level of gay. Like, Diddy's past the levels of gay of like a nigga like Lil Nas X. Diddy's extra gay. AUSA, how did you get Sly from Atlanta to LA? I told Sean I would arrange his flight. I booked it online on Expedia. Sean paid me back. What happened? He was cute and sweet, but he was nervous too. It was my first time. First time what? Contacting an adult film star. I told him it was me and my partner. He said, fine. What hotel was it? The L'Hermitage, I believe. Jane says, it was routine. The oils wouldn't come out. I'd be in a uniform. Then dance, then sex. Okay? Comey says, what was Sean doing? Masturbating. Then who invited him the next couple of times? I did. I suggested it was Sly. He was familiar to me. Comey says, where else did you meet Sly? The Trump Hotel. The Trump Hotel in New York? Yes, I would book his flights from Atlanta. And you paid him afterwards? Yes, I would pay him $2,000 to $4,000. Okay. So Diddy stepped up the amount of money he's paying these guys to slang cock. Objection. Comey says, where did you get the cash to pay Sly? It says, well, from Sean, from the draw. Sometimes we use Cash App. AUSA says, was there a second adult entertainer you would reach out to? She says, yes, Anton. I think Anton Harris. That was his stage name. I don't know his real name, though. Holy. Let's keep it going. Wow. There's a lot of dudes, huh? Chat, there's a lot of dudes. Okay, so Anton. So let's talk about Anton. We were watching Anton films, and I was really into him. I messaged him on Instagram. He was in LA. I invited him over. AUSA says, how did Anton respond? Positively. We were in my first residence, and what happened? Jane says the same. Sean watched, and he was happy. Comey says, did you see Anton again? Jane says, yes, sometimes at the hotel in LA, sometimes at my apartment. Did you FaceTime with Anton and Sly? Jane says, yes, when Sean and I were alone having sexy times. AUSA says, why would Sean call them? Jane says he wanted something live. What the fuck? So Diddy would be fucking her. What? She says when her and Diddy was alone having sex, Diddy would call the men. And says, well, why would he call them? He wanted something live. What do you mean? Jane says, I was doing like sexting, FaceTime, and screen sharing to Diddy's TV. I told Sly and Anton I was alone so they would feel comfortable. Did you ever ask Sly and Anton if they ever wanted to send pictures, if they ever wanted to send you pictures of their genitalia? Jane says, yes, Sean wanted them. He would say, get it. So Diddy wanted pictures of the penises. This is some crazy shit, Chad. This is some crazy shit, bro. Diddy was fucking her and would tell her in the middle of sex, yo, could you call up that nigga, bro? Yo, call that nigga and ask him if I could see his dick. Imagine being in pussy and telling the girl you're in her pussy and you say, you know what I want to do right now? Call up that nigga that I can see his dick. What? Anyway, I told y'all, the guy's gay. Whatever. Comey, did Anton or Sly ever send you photos of their genitalia when you were not with Sean? She says, yes. I was polite and flirtatious, but not as flirtatious as I was with Sean. They said, did you ever see Anton or Sly in person without Sean? No. Are these texts with Sly? Let me show you. She says, yeah, it is. I was asking for explicit photos or videos from him. That's what my partner wanted. What did Sly say? He said, I'm down. What did you say? I wrote, I'm touching myself. Then what's your full name and date of birth? He said, why did you ask for his full name and date of birth? I wanted to book his travel. What did you write? She's booking, Jen was, November 9th, 2021, the flight. Comey says, when you receive these explicit images, were you alone? Jane says, yes. I sent a blander message. Then he texted me in April 2022, hey, beautiful, how's your day? Why did Jess book the flight? Or Jess or Jen, whatever. It says, I was too high to type. He's the entertainer. And so what about other entertainers? She says, yes, there were Paul, there were Don. Sean coordinated the others. Between May 2021 and 2023, how often were there hotel nights? Often, every week or every other week. After 2024, February 2024, where did this happen? It happened at 2-Star Island and LA. Comey says, in the LA resident, you're still living in? Jane says, yes. AUSA says after February 2024, he says, we probably did freak offs 5 times. He says, how many different men? I don't know. So let's talk about some of these guys. Who is this? That's Don, okay? What about the last time you guys had a freak off? It was August 2024 at 2-Star Island, okay? When was Diddy arrested, Chuck? Let's look. When was Diddy arrested?